What is up, Coach Emma here, and welcome back to the Fit Habit Life podcast, where we cut through the noise, talk real health and fitness, sustainable fat loss, and habits that actually work. And on today's episode, we will be talking about why it is so much better to be strong than to try to be skinny. But before we dig in, just wanted to thank you for listening to the episode. If you've been listening to the show and have been enjoying it, if you could rate the show, share the show, or subscribe to the podcast, that just helps me get in front of more people, which helps me help more people, which is the goal of this show. So anyway, thank you for being here. But before we dig in, I just wanted to talk about why I'm talking about this. I thought that the world, that women had realized finally that trying to do the diets our mothers did and trying to be small and eat as little as possible, I thought we got over that as a female population. But no, you're looking at and I don't really care about tabloids or whatever you call them, like the famous people. I probably couldn't list top 10 most popular famous people right now. I have no idea. I don't follow that. I don't really care. I never watch galas or the Oscars or whatever. But I saw a lot of posts about actresses looking like skinny tiny rails, and I don't want to bag on them and how they look, but to me, it looks unhealthy. And what I've noticed is when famous people start to do things that becomes kind of like a trend, and the average population tend to gravitate towards it, and they're like, wow, I want to look like this person. Like when Jennifer Aniston had the short hair in Friends, everybody got the short hair. Unless I'm misremembering. I don't know. I wasn't alive back then, okay? I just heard that was a thing. I was born in 98. So anyway. But yeah, so I just want to talk about why being strong is so much better than trying to be skinny and smaller. Because I've been there and I've made those mistakes, and I don't want more people to go through that. It made the past 6 years, or I don't know, maybe it was like 28 years journey more challenging than it probably had to be. I will say I always loved to lift weights. Always. There was one period where I didn't do it, and it was when the gyms were closed during COVID. They were closed for forever in California. It was absolutely ridiculous, and I stopped training. And then I was embarrassed to get back into it because I didn't like the way I looked and I wasn't as strong as I was before. And I don't think I've ever talked about this actually publicly. I forget about it because it was such a short, tiny period of my 10-year journey from being like really unhealthy to like the spot that I am now. And that was kind of the only time I didn't really lift weights. I was doing a lot of cardio, like a lot of cardio, like biking and swimming and running. I was not doing a triathlon. It was still COVID time, so most of the gyms were closed. I don't know why. I think part of it was I didn't want to get fat, but I wanted to eat a lot. But I also still tried to eat less and would restrict in calorie count, but not look at micros or macros. There was a lot of disordered habits in that time, but I didn't look very great. I actually have a photo from that time where I was like, okay, I need to start to look better and lose weight. And I think I only weighed like a couple pounds more than I do now, but I've built so much muscle since then and lost a significant amount of body fat to where it is shocking that I'm almost the same weight as I was in that picture. But basically, I've been there. So I want women, younger or older, to realize that this mental, thoughts in our heads that were ingrained either through childhood, the media, maybe somebody made a comment when you were a kid, trying to be smaller and skinny. That's not the way. That is not the way. You're not going to have a very enjoyable and fun and thriving life. You're going to feel like crap. And I have a list of 16 things. ChatGPT and I are friends, and I talk to it. Just kidding, not in that. I use it a lot for my copy of the podcasts, and I ramble, as you guys can tell. So I will type a big thing, and I'm like, hey, make this more succinct so it's not super long and boring and obnoxious, and so that people will read it, and so it knows me. And so I asked it, hey, I'm doing a podcast on why being strong is better than being skinny. Can you give me a list of things that I've said in the past that would support my hypothesis? I mean, I know I'm right. It's not a hypothesis. It's a truth. Being strong is better than being skinny. And number 1, you get to eat more food. If you're trying to build muscle or maintain muscle, your body needs more calories than you'd think. And the more muscle that you have, the more calories your body needs. So you get to eat more food. You have more room in the budget. Because you have more metabolically active tissue. So Emma now versus Emma then, like the higher body fat, lower muscle mass Emma could not eat what I eat now. I probably eat 2,600-ish calories, give or take, a day, and like can maintain my weight. That Emma probably could only eat 2,000 to 2,300 maybe to maintain. It's much like extra 300-ish calories makes a big difference. That's a Ninja Creamy in there, people. And number 2, most people who want to be skinny, they want to be quote unquote toned. Toned is just having muscle that people can see. So less body fat covering that muscle. So if you're just trying to be skinny and small, you're probably not going to eat a lot and not going to eat enough to maintain muscle mass. But if you focused on being strong and improving your body composition by building muscle, you will look better and you will have a better body composition. So you will have more muscle and less body fat. Like I do. I'm the same as that other Emma, and I look way better. But I weigh the same because I have more muscle and less body fat. Number 3, muscle helps with long-term fat loss because the more muscle you have, the more body fat, or the more calories your body burns at rest. So, same thing with like just ability to eat more food. The more muscle you have, the better you'll be able to maintain your results because you'll be able to eat more and maintain that lower body fat percentage that you want to get that body look that you want. When you focus on strength versus being skinny, you're just more capable. You feel more capable. I never thought I would be able to deadlift 1.5 times my body weight for reps. But I did that the other day. I weigh about 170, 175-ish pounds, kind of in up and down in that range. And I deadlifted 260 for 3 reps. That's badass. That's really cool. I did chin-ups with weight. I held a 20-pound dumbbell and did 2 chin-ups with 4-second eccentric. That's awesome. And if I didn't focus on getting stronger, I wouldn't be able to do that. And that makes me feel like a badass. So that leads me, not only am I more capable because I can carry more things and do more things, but I feel like a badass. So number 5 is just being more confident. I'm more confident in myself and my abilities because when I go to the gym and I do things that I didn't think I could do, it kind of boosts my inner self, my value, my self thoughts. What is the word? My independence. I'm like, I'm a badass. I can do this cool stuff. And it's stuff that I never thought I'd be able to do that. That's crazy. Now I'm like, I could probably easily deadlift 300 pounds. If I could do 260 for 3, and I could have probably done one more rep. And I wasn't using straps. It was just my grip. That's cool, right? So the more you focus on getting strong, the more self-confidence you'll have, and the more physically capable you'll be for day-to-day life. You won't need help with the groceries. You won't need help putting your luggage in the upper compartment at the airplane, on the airplane. You won't need help moving. When we've moved, we've had people from church help us, and I'm stronger than a lot of the men. And they're like, do you need help? I'm like, I'm good. Like, I can carry this couch. And people are always like, damn, like, you can carry that? I'm like, yeah. Because most women can't. Because most women are trying to be skinny. They're trying to be smaller. They're not trying to get strong and be capable and independent. But because they don't know how you'll feel. Which is why, like a lot of people, fitness requires a lot of discipline, but that discipline gives you freedom. Because the more discipline you have, the more capable you'll be able to do, the more things you'll be able to do with your life and in your life. But people don't think about it that way. Same thing with being strong. And number 6, focusing on building muscle actually helps build bone density, bone mineral density. And with Ozempic, right, a lot of people are getting osteoporosis, osteopenia. Well, they're eating less food, like way less food, trying to be skinny, but they're not focusing on maintaining the muscle that they already had. Because most of them aren't strength training. Most of them aren't focusing on protein. And a lot of them develop osteoporosis. And it's because their body doesn't have the energy or reason to maintain that. Because your body thinks, I'm starving. I need to grab calories from anywhere I can and convert it to energy so I can just function and survive. Number 7, if you focus on being strong instead of being skinny, you will have a better hormone profile. Because when you're constantly undereating, overexercising, not training appropriately, your stress bucket overflows and your body can't adequately recover. So your body downregulates other processes in the body in order to use that energy for more immediate survival mechanisms. So a lot of women will lose their menstrual cycle because the body's like, it is not safe. I cannot have a child. So we don't need to worry about this right now. That's happened to me a lot. One of the reasons I coach. So since I've focused more on just getting strong, fueling my body adequately, and building muscle, my cycle has returned and been very consistent. So amenorrhea is not fun. I mean, it is nice to not have a cycle, but it's not healthy. It's a red flag that something is going on systemically in your body. And that can lead to osteoporosis, osteopenia, a bunch of other things I don't remember. So it's not good. Number 8, you will develop a better relationship with food. You just will. Because when you're focusing on getting strong, you have to focus on performance. How do you perform better? You fuel your body. You have to fuel your body. You have to eat carbs. You have to eat food. You have to recover from training. So it's been really helpful for me and a lot of my clients that struggle with that. It's like, hey, we're not worried about the scale. We're worried about getting that number on the barbell up and getting you stronger and making sure that you're recovering from your training so that next time you go into training, you can put more on that barbell. It also helps develop a better relationship with exercise. Because if you're focusing on being strong, right, performance, you need recovery. You can't be running your body into the ground. You need the right amount of volume to where it tells your body, hey, we need to adapt and build muscle. But you can't have too much or your body can't recover and rebuild that muscle tissue that you broke down in training. So, focusing on performance and getting strong will really help that. When you're trying to be skinny instead of strong, overworked, underfueled, your energy is super low. When you're focusing on being strong, recovering, fueling performance, training, all those things, you're going to have way more energy. You're going to feel a whole lot better. And just quality of life is going to drastically improve. Number 11, you will age better. A lot of my grandparents, my grandfathers, while they didn't strength train or do really anything, they were fairly active. One of my grandfathers in particular, he was walking everywhere, doing all the things. When he passed away, it was like a crazy accident. Like, it wasn't anything that his body was just like, I give up. No, it's like he slipped on ice. He lived in Canada and he injured his hip and then was in a coma, and then he passed, unfortunately. But up until that point, he was super independent because he never tried to be skinny and small and like cut calories. He just listened to his body. He ate very well. He cooked all his meals and he stayed active. And while we're talking about being strong here, it's just a great example of when you adequately fuel your body, you stay active, appropriate amount of activity, you're going to age well. You will be able to maintain that independence. He was in his 90s and he was still totally with it mentally. And he was able to walk around everywhere. His eyesight wasn't great. That is unfortunately, I haven't seen anything that can help your reduce retinal decline. I don't know what you'd call it. I haven't heard anything or seen any studies about improving like eyesight as you're aging. There might be something. But he was totally with it. He just couldn't drive. It was kind of scary. The last couple years of his driving. But yeah, the more muscle you have, the stronger you are, the less likely you are to fall, and the more independence you'll have. Because you don't need a wheelchair. You can walk around and do normal stuff. And muscle helps with brain health as well. So just in general, you'll be sharper, more physically capable. Focusing on strength versus skinny is more sustainable. There will always be 5 more pounds to lose, right? But the way that most people go about being skinny, they go about it in a way to where they can't do it anymore. Their body burns out. They're fried. Mentally, physically, they can't handle it anymore and they give up. And then because they've lost all their muscle, that's when everybody who quits a diet, they gain like 20 pounds and they look worse than they did before because they lost their muscle. And what they were doing was unsustainable. Focusing on getting strong, way more sustainable. And building muscle requires a lot less to maintain than it does to build. And if you lose some for injury or whatnot, it doesn't take that long to get it back because your body remembers having it. So you can argue that, oh, you lost a bunch of weight and then you can put back on the muscle. But the problem with the people that focus on being skinny and losing a bunch of muscle, when they get down to that really low weight, their body's adapted to the really low caloric intake and they don't know what to do. And because they're burnt out and tired, they just say screw it and they eat everything in sight. That's what I've seen. Like people who go on Ozempic, lose a bunch of weight, just jump off of it. They end up in a really terrible spot. Focusing on strength also builds mental resilience because it requires consistent training, discipline, consistency, patience, and shows you that doing the boring stuff works and that progress does actually take time. Because if you chase skinny, right? If I stopped eating for a week, I would lose a lot of weight. I have a pretty high metabolism. So, right, 2,600 calories a day, almost a pound. If I didn't eat for a week, I'd probably lose probably close to 10 pounds total, but half of that would be water. Because if you're not eating carbs, glycogen, water leaves the body. I don't recommend that, right? But that's quick fix. Being strong takes time. The first year, you consistently get stronger. Honestly though, I've been getting stronger consistently for the past, ever since I've been training appropriately. So probably the past 3 years or so. I've hit some plateaus and some lifts, but I'm still getting stronger week over week. Even if it's just a pound here and there, at least one of my lifts is progressing, and I've been training for 15 years. So, and it's slow, but it really does build mental resiliency. And then overall, number 15, focusing on strength versus being skinny improves digestion and metabolic health, because when you're eating enough, training appropriately, managing stress, staying hydrated, walking, focusing on recovery and sleep, your body will be in a better place to have a better digestion. Or to have better digestion. But also, if you're focusing on getting strong versus skinny, you're probably eating plenty of fruits and vegetables, which have a lot of fiber. And so you probably have pretty regular bowel movements. And your body's not overly stressed. So, just in general. It's kind of a blanket statement, but it's true. And number 16. When you focus on being strong, that self-confidence that you build lets you stop trying to disappear. I feel like a lot of women who are trying to be skinny, they're trying to hide away. But getting strong is about taking up space, respecting your body, building a life that you want, a great quality of life, versus being skinny, trying to be more acceptable and in societal standards and hide and be quote unquote normal. That's not fun. Focusing on being strong, being different, being yourself, taking up space, building that self-confidence, and you deserve to be there. You deserve to be here. You deserve to be well. You deserve to live your life to its fullest extent and how you want to. That's empowering. So anyway, hopefully I've convinced you, listener, that being strong is way more fun than being skinny. While it does take more time to build muscle than it does to be skinny, you will feel better. You'll have a better quality of life. You'll be able to enjoy your life more. And in the long run, it will be worth it. Period. End of story. So, if this episode was at all helpful for you, if it resonated with you, if you could share it, rate the show, or subscribe. Again, this just helps get this information in front of more people, which is the goal of me doing this. I do enjoy it too, but that's the main goal. I want people to hear the real shit, the shit that actually matters, not the craziness that's on social media, but like what actually is the truth. So anyway, thank you guys for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.